Auditor's opinions. We have audited the accompanying financial statements of the Gambia Technical Training Institute, GTTI, which comprises of the balance sheet, the income statement, a statement of changes in accumulated fund, cash flow statement for the year then ended, and notes to the financial statements, including accounting policies applicable to the institute. In our opinion, the financial statements give a true and fair view of the financial position of the institute as of 31st of December 2018, and of its financial performance and its cash flows for the year then ended, and has been prepared in accordance with the generally accepted accounting principles, in accordance with the requirements of the GTTI Act 2009 and the Companies Act 2013. Signed, Augustus Prom, dated 30th of April 2021. Should we proceed to the management letter report? Should we proceed to the management letter report? Honorable Chair, just for clarity, is it just observations or should we read observation, implication? Okay, thank you. Page 4.1, pro forma invoices, observation. During our review on the income generated from contracts, we noted instances in which invoices were raised, and upon our review our review on the invoice payments, it was confirmed that the invoices were pro forma invoices for customers and not the actual invoices to be settled, as listed below. Recommendation: management should ensure pro forma invoices are raised upon request or inquiry, which once confirmed by the customer, and invoices raised to confirm the sales, which is in line with the recommended invoicing process. Okay. Page 5.2, canteen management, observation. From our review of the board minutes and information provided from management, there is a canteen available in the school premises and it is operational. We requested for a rental contract, but this was not provided for our review. Our recommendation is management should ensure that the contract is maintained between the canteen tenant and the institute, clearly stating the various responsibilities of each party to the contract. Page 6.3, Quality Assurance Department, observation. From our visit to the Quality Assurance Department and discussions with the head of department, we were informed that monthly reports were prepared for the previous audit years from 2017 going backwards. We requested for the 2018 reports, but it was confirmed to us that the quality assurance assessment was not done within the period. Recommendation: management should ensure that the Quality Assurance Department provides reports which will help in determining the level of work being done to ensure quality is maintained for students enrolling into the institute. Page 7.4, fuel purchases. During our review on the fuel purchases, we noted that the fuel was bought from Atlas petrol station during the year. We requested for a contract or framework agreement, but this was not provided for our review. Recommendation: we recommend that management should look into the above issue and ensure compliance with the GPPA procurement rules on single sourcing. Page 8.5, fixed assets, observation. During our fixed assets physical verification exercise, we noted that most of the assets are not tagged. Moreover, we saw only one tagged asset and we were unable to ascertain if it was actually the said assets. Recommendation: we recommend that management should look into the above issue and ensure assets are tagged in line with the code in the asset register. Statutory deductions, page 9.6, observation. During our review on the statutory deductions, we noted late payments of SSHFC and income tax for the following months listed below. Recommendation: we recommend that management should ensure all statutory payments are paid on time. Point 7, internal audit reports, observation. A review was conducted on the internal audit reports for a period under review, and we noted the following. A, review and the implementation status of previous period findings. We noted there was no section stating the implementation status of previous period findings for adequate monitoring. B, responses from various responsibilities, personnel or units. We noted that the observations were stated, but there was no response from the various unit or personnel responsible. And C, timeline to ensure finding is implemented. We noted that there is no timeline captured to ensure the observation of finding is implemented. Recommendation, we recommend the management of the board should look into the above, which will further improve on the performance of the unit. And page 11 and the remaining is just a review on the previous year findings. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. We may now go on straight to the consideration the analysis given on the submission of the financial statements of GTTI by the subject matter experts advanced as follows. GTTI was created in 1980 under Act of Parliament as skilled training institution to equip the youth of this country with the requisite skills needed for gainful employment. According to the current board chairperson, the institute is now Institute to University of the Applied Science and Numerical and Technology. That is the current status of the GTTI. And then in reviewing the activities, GTTI receives subvention from the government through MOSI to continue providing technical education and vocational training for students. In addition to the subvention and tuition fees that come from the local sources, the Institute also receives funding from the international partners in the form of technical assistance and staff development and provision of tools and equipment. The revenue performance, the actual revenues for the 2020-2029, 50 budget allocation is 66.89, and then the actuals 50.6, the variance is 16.2, whereas for 2019 is 63.89, the actuals 51.76, and the variance is 12.0. The difference is 3.0, that is minus, and then minus 1.06, and then 4.198. The Institute did not achieve its overall revenue targets both in 2019 and 20. The implication for this is felt in its operation activities as well as infrastructure development. To that, the committee is of interest to know why the continuous fail to achieve why GTTI continuously failed to achieve its revenue target in 2019, targets. In 2019, revenue shortfall was 18.9%, big increases to 24.3% in 2020. And the committee hereby asks for clarification why this continuous fail in the revenue target of the institution.
You want to get a response? That's what I want to say. Thank you very much, Honorable Chairman, distinguished members of the National Assembly, subject matter experts, our external auditors, the two chairs of the GTTI and the USAID Governing Council, respectively. Now, the issue you have raised, we definitely took note of it. And this, if you look at this period, that was the period when the COVID struck, and the institution was in activity, out of activity for a period of about 6 months. And yes, so, and we were servicing all our, we were at least servicing all our commitments like payment of salaries, you know, and looking into areas of delivery of programs using the online sites that are available, especially collaborating with the internet providers in order to be able to at least provide services online to the students. So all these issues have impacted greatly on the financial activities of the institution. I think maybe the Director of Admin and Finance would be able to, you would want to elaborate. Yeah.
Director,
Thank you very much. Yeah.
you are referring to Director of Admin and Finance?
No, I thought that maybe
further
you want
clarification?
I thought that maybe you want to add some
Okay.
further clarification.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Just to members of Parliament, Chairman, Board of Directors, colleagues, just wanted to add to what the Director General, Acting General, has just said. You can even further see from the figures on page 7, it reflects the revenue or income, 47 million in 2019, and in 2020, 23 million, of which we have note number 6 to explain the breakdown. You can see over 50% has gone down. We've lost revenue because of the close down, the shutdown over that period. But still we were able to, you can see the impact was just about 2.8 million in terms of loss that we've made. So, and this came from project income that we were able to initiate to be able to salvage some of the loss. Otherwise, it would have been bigger than that. So just to add on the financial aspect to what he has just said.
Now, does the failure in meeting the income targets continuously does not affect the performance of the institution?
Yeah, it definitely affects the performance of the institution, because at least for a period of time, the institution was not active when it comes to delivery of its mandate, because the training program ceased and then the number of intake dropped drastically. So, and this is our source of revenue when it comes to the operations of the institution. So it definitely impacted on our operations.
When it actually affected the performance of the institution, which must have been a cause of concern, what remedial measures have you put in place to address that?
Yes, if you look at COVID when it struck, you know, we are not prepared for it in terms of what mechanisms or tools we need to use in order to be able to at least perform better. So these things, It's in 1920.
Or you're just joining us? Or we are on the finances 18 to 2020, the report that we have presented. Take your SMS analysis.
Yes.
Yeah, you may proceed.
Yes. Yes. So definitely, our performance was definitely at the level we expected to be. But when it comes to, income, like generating revenue, then definitely you can say that our performance has definitely dropped.
We have from 2018 to 2020 presented. Yes.
Post-COVID cases were reported in March 2020 until or some at that point it would have been the end of the academic year. COVID would have been a
Yes.
as 2021 COVID might have been 2019.
She's trying to doubt whether COVID could be the attributing. Yeah, I'm sorry,
Yes, yes.
just plan. Yeah, let them. Yeah, they said is that she's doubting whether that could be the contributing factor. What's your opinion to that?
Yeah, it's a contributing factor because the year overlap, the academic year overlaps. It's like when you say 2019, 2020 academic year. This is where our activity is definitely programmed. So if at all 2020 was struck by COVID, then definitely it will affect the entire academic year because of the impact of the COVID.
And the remedial measures, are they working effectively?
Yeah, COVID came to pass, and then, but the remedies that we put in place during that period, we are definitely working. Although it is not to 100% level, because we needed to have a online learning platform, which was not available, but we were able to, put to work the WhatsApp groups, and then later we collaborated with AfriCell, QCell, in order to be able to at least use the Google Meet and the Google Blackboard in order to deliver the lectures. So, and we were also able to provide the students with data in order to be able to log online whilst they are staying at home. So these were the remedies that we are used in order to be able to continue delivering our programs. And it definitely worked to an extent that when COVID was about to phase out or schools were to resume, students were able to go through their assessment without difficulty.
Any point on that, Honorable?
It was not for free, but it was not cost. If you look at the cost implication, it was definitely very great. It was greater compared to face-to-face. Because it affected definitely our budget.
Any issue?
Yeah.
In all cases, travel cost, utility cost,
Yeah, because we don't pay for the travel cost of the student. That one is out of it. But if you look at the unit cost of providing internet, definitely it would have greater at that period. Yes. 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 Yeah. Yeah, but if you look at, they were paying fees, and then at the end of the day, we'll not want to have that arrangement done for them, like, telling them that, you need to pay for your own internet in order to be able to access. Because this is what we started, but the students did not take it down well. So, they wanted to, create some kind of friction. Then that is the time we, yeah.
They are coming to the site, you don't pay for their fare.
Yes.
So if they are learning at home, you are not expected to pay for their connection.
Yes.
So why incur that extra expense? What I'm saying is that it could have been a savings.
Yes.
Was it mandatory for you to do that? Because it's something that you are saying you struggle with, and that is
Yes.
causing the extra expenses. So
Yeah,
that
it
is-
was mandatory. I think all institutions were doing that in order to be able to at least satisfy their clientele. Because the way the perspective you have and the perspective that students have definitely would differ. The way students were taking it, consuming the idea was very different. So this was the reason why, in order to be able to avoid that friction between, because we don't know what would be the final impact, like how the public would see it and how they would react to that. So we said, why not provide it for them, since other institutions are doing the same in order to satisfy their students.
Okay, and where was that expense coming from? Was it, can it be traced from where it was coming from and how it was purchased? Because obviously it's an expense. Can it be traced from source?
Yeah, it can be traced from the accounts, because there was a time that the students made a protest that, GTTI was given money and they were not putting the money into right use. Then the media came around, and then the Director General then has to clarify and then provide the trace of the payments that we are made in order to be able to provide access for them. Yes, that's okay.
That's okay. Are you done? Yes, she's asking whether there can be any evidence of that.
Yeah, I think that is during the copy.
If so, it can be made available to the committee, if not now, but later. Is that okay?
Yes.
Page 9 of the financial.
There's one that we had 4.5 million that we spent. It's on page 15 of 2020.
Yes.
We go to 7.1, the other statement. Yes, we had.
You say page what?
Page
Of 20?
20. Satisfied. But funds that we actually received, because we had was from our minister. That was covered. So it gave me 4.5, of which 1 million was used for data internet. Then 3.5 was actually used for the we had to set up, we had to buy all those equipment. We have a listing breakdown.
But this is the income. We are looking at expenses.
Yes.
This is where it came from. We are looking at the actual breakdown of the expenses. This is an income.
That the 4.3 is under income. That is Sky project income. And where can we get that in the expenditure?
It's on page 16 instead. Is it the 9 administrative cost?
Yes.
Is that okay?
No, not that one, not that one. Not that one.
Okay, because if it's okay, where is it then?
I think we need to present it.
We can, I think at this point, what we'll come back and give you the expenses.
The breakdown?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Okay,
Statements.
you can do so and then provide the
Yes.
breakdown to the committee later. Raul, colleagues, can you take note of your analysis and then issues that are there, you can raise so. And then we shall. The analysis from the SMS. Let's deal with that first, then after the general ones can come from the management leaders and others. You don't have that document? While you are searching, let me continue. We have issues surrounding the subvention received from government through the Ministry of Higher Education. We constitute 40% of the total revenue. The point that we want to put to the management is to whether they are seeking government commitment to increase this funding in order to meet the obligation to facilitate the smooth transition process from process to a higher institution of learning. If that is so, we want you to give us an update on that.
Yes. What we are always advocating for is to be autonomous, to be independent when it comes to financial commitment. And this is why we have been working very hard to make sure that our production unit is very effective and our foundry is operational, so that at least we can reduce the burden of receiving subvention from government all the time. This is what we have been thinking of. But at the moment, at the time of the putting together of this report, I think GTTI was definitely in dire need of support, and increased support in order to be able to at least operate its line, its other institutions or centers around the country, which definitely came not long ago when GTTI has been receiving subventions. You can see that these centers, they just came recently, and it is creating definitely a burden on the normal subvention that we have been receiving. It has never increased to a significant level whereby we can smoothly take care of these centers. So that is why we are definitely looking at government support in order to at least augment the financial dealings concerning these various institute centers that are definitely connected to the main campus in Carnegie.
Now, if the university is in the verge of transforming to, the GTTI is on the verge of transforming to the university, now this autonomy that you talk about, how is that attained?
Yeah, university comes with a lot of initiatives, especially when it comes to the area of research and innovation. And the elements that are within the transformation is, one of them is entrepreneurship, and innovation hub that is already on the offing. Because we have the computers, we have the 3D printers, we have also the support equipment, which are being procured at the moment as we speak. Contractors were identified and they are procuring these materials. Besides, students' research can definitely generate a lot of income. Besides that, also we have our production unit, we have our foundry, which will soon be operational, fully operational, because our rotary furnaces, which we are down, our sandblasters, all of them are now operational. So one of the key elements that we have to fix is the induction furnace, which, we don't need it at the moment because that one is used for much advanced casting. But apart from that, our foundry would definitely be operational because the needed expatriates are on the ground, and then they are going to definitely going to generate income for the institution.
Beside autonomy, our main concern is on the increment of the government commitment in terms of funding. Are you seeking to that effect to ensure the realization of that increment?
Definitely, yes. Definitely, yes.
Yeah, I'll just sorry.
What is the response? Positive?
Positive, yes.
Okay. Honorable Njai? Okay.
Their funding, when in effect you are reducing your overheads. For example, Banjul premises was sold, and we need to know how much that was bringing compared to what is expected now. I mean, you are aiming at changing it into a university, obviously with campuses. How can the main campus that was supposed to be in the capital city be sold? And I think we will go to that. What was the rationale behind selling it? And I think we will go to that later. But how would you expect government funding when in effect you are reducing your overheads?
Yeah. I think this was a policy decision made by the higher education, but it was a demand that the port is going to annex the Banjul annex together with the Muslim high school, Malfa, Whitley, we all know that. And definitely that was the rationale behind, sort of, I was not privy or part of the arrangement, but I came to understand that these were the reasons why, Banjul annex was disposed to the Gambia Ports Authority. Yes.
Probably as the head, but was the board not part of the decision-making body? Because there is a board who is responsible. What can the board say about that?
I thought we had taken a different approach. Yes. I am, the position we took at the board, and he knows, everybody knows, all the board members, that we must try as much as we can to move away from this subvention business. Because I have worked in all these institutions. The university is facing problems, financial problems, because of the subvention. It's not enough. Institutions like that, they take a lot of money. One example, it's Gambia College. They have moved from really being rely on government for funding to standing on their own feet, almost. And that should be the model, and that's what we have put on the table. Really, with all this, how do I call it again, this projects that you are setting up to supplement the cost of the training, I think it's a good idea. The more we have things like that, the better it would be. These institutions should start working outside this subvention business. It's never going to put them anywhere. I gave an example. Gambia College salary bill for every month is 2.7 million. Government subvention for Gambia College, sometimes it's even below 1 million.
Okay, can I take you back? Because tuition is based on location. Because if you have more location, obviously you have more students.
Yeah.
If you look at 2019, tuition was 28.6 million. 2020, 3.6 million. Maybe COVID is part of it, but also maybe the closure of the Banjul annex might also be part of it. How much was earned in fees at the Banjul annex? That can be a factor as well.
What do you have for that?
Yes. Yeah, Banjul Annex, comparing Banjul Annex to, I think, the main campus, Banjul Annex is just the tip of the iceberg because it's a small drop in those. Because we are registering about 100, between 150, 160, 175, those ranges. So, and we hardly sometimes get students. Some of them will drop along the line. Then, if you look at Mansa Konko and Julengel, it was, since its operations in 2017, it was being, all the courses were being funded by GIZ, and they were sponsoring the students, and they were running most of the courses. The renovation of Mansa Konko was also taken up by GIZ in order to make sure that it is operational. The dormitories today, which were handed over this year by GIZ and KFW, was also created in order to be able to attract students. But the momentum that we want for Mansa Konko to have, definitely we are yet to reach there. Because the dorms, we see that the dorms maybe it will help us to attract more students. Yes. So definitely those other extension institutions are long-term investment, but they are not actually bringing in income at the moment.
Yeah, because we have a youthful population
Yes.
that are at the age of college going. So if the courses were attractive and the fees were affordable, I think we cannot say that we don't have them, because we have young children at the age, at college age. So I think, and for 2019-2020, the total number of enrollment in Banjul was 221.
Yes, something
So,
like that.
I mean, that is a good number. I mean, for college, even if you go to the UK, a whole college probably would be like 600 people.
Yeah,
So for
we
the
still
courses-
continue to earn
so-
that number.
Yeah,
The student number is still being captured in Carnegie.
yeah, what I'm saying is that the numbers are there. So if we close an institution with this number in a year, it means that we are preventing at least 100, I would say, I would just take half of these people, denying them the opportunity to go to college. So that is my point here.
Yeah, let me just,
And then,
Banjul Annex, the numbers are still there. Banjul Annex is still existing in campus. We did not phase it out yet because we did not want to lose those numbers. We are still capturing those numbers.
What I'm saying,
Yes.
coming from Banjul,
Yes.
I know that those numbers will drastically reduce because some people cannot afford the fees and then the fare as well. It will be a burden. Like a higher institution, it must have different locations, and Banjul was prime location, and majority of those people would drop out eventually because of the movement.
I don't know whether
Trying
you
to
understand that the number of students, the higher number of students, the greater percentage was not coming from Banjul, We were not attracting students from Banjul, but the student population that we are willing to enter to the Banjul Annex, we are not coming from Banjul. We have that statistic that definitely Banjul was not our
Further question on that
target, yes.
or clarification? Honorable Njai? Oh, Cham.
Yes,
I think is it the same issue?
about the Banjul Annex, yes.
Banyunanas, okay.
Yeah. I asked what guarantees do they have that the government will continue to provide the needed funds if they transition to be a university, and which the Banjul Annex guaranteed $781,000 in 2019.
Do you get the question?
Yes, about government support. What guarantee we have that government will continue to support us as we come to become a University of Science and Engineering?
What I am saying is already Banjul Annex guaranteed 781,000 in
Yes, that one I
2019.
got it. Yes.
Yes. So I asked what guarantee do you have that the government will continue to provide the needed funds if they transition to a university?
Looking at Banjul, the funds that Banjul was bringing. Yeah, it doesn't change. The funding doesn't change. The revenue is still coming. Students are still coming, applying and paying for those programs. The programs are not killed. They are still existing. We provide even programs for school dropouts, people whom you know that they drop out at grade 6 or so. The general skills qualification covers them, which we are running in collaboration with NACA. So definitely, I don't see that loss when it comes to Banjul. Only we lost the infrastructure and the site. Me, I used to lament that, okay, Banjul is, that particular site is, a historical site, we should have sold it. But, I think the priorities are greater than that.
But having sold the Banjul Annex for so many years from now to now, and we only realized that it has been indicated in the only 2020 report.
Yes.
Why was it not part of the 2017 or 2018 or 2019 report when actually the Banjul Annex has been sold since that
Yeah,
time?
this process has been going on even before 2017. Yes, the process of trying to annex Banjul Annex has been going on prior to 2017. Because I could remember before I go to studies to Taiwan, that was in 2009, Banjul Annex, the process of Banjul Annex was still going on in order to be able to annex it to the Gambia Ports Authority. Because there was a site that was even identified that this site was going to be used as the site for the new Banjul Annex. We used to hear that. But it is only recently, it was around where that garden is in Lamin. There was this Lamin, yeah, so that was news to us.
So what stops you from bringing bringing?
Go ahead. Yeah.
Yes. What stops you from bringing it to be part of the 2017, 2018, and 2019, respectively, to be part of that report instead of bringing it to the 2020 report? Because I expect it should have been in that, even though, because the negotiation did not start in one day, as you said.
Yeah.
So I expect still, even despite the fact that it is ongoing negotiation or whatsoever, it should have been part of that report for clarity. Since that time, than bringing it to 2020 report when things has already been finalized, or even where there are lapses in some areas, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, because that time maybe the whole issue was not ripe. It was just negotiation, is a story or whatever. So they did not see it as necessary in order to capture it at that point, because it might raise issues or whatever. I don't know, because I was not part of that negotiation anyway. But this is how I see it, and this is. I don't think there is.
Auditors, do you have any idea?
Anything wrong.
Can I answer?
Yeah, you can.
Good afternoon, everybody. In connection of the question that you asked about Banjul Annex, being the transaction is not shown from the various accounts. The problem is the auditing codes, the accounting codes that we are using for the past years, all the tuition fees are dumped in one account like tuition fee. But when the software package that we changed in 2020, tuition fees are identified based on departments. So Banjul Annex was separated. That's why it's, you can see on the audit report, you will have various departments, how much are we reserving? We did that because we want to know each of the departments, how many tuition fees we are reserving so that we can know the cost that we are doing in each of the various departments. So the sales of Banjul Annex also was done in 2020. This is why in 2020, you will see a tuition fee account of $0 for Banjul Annex. The premises was sold, but the classes was, the students, everybody was transferred to the main campus, and the classes are ongoing. There were fees in a department. That's why you will see a $0. Thank you.
The main mention of
Auditors, do you have any idea?
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair and the Honorable Member. The sale of Banjul Annex, actually, in terms of the proceeds, the actual sale and the proceeds happened in 2020. And there is a balance in terms of the agreed price, disposal price, and then that balance that is outstanding in terms of the agreed is also presented in the account receivable as an outstanding from GPA under the receivables. But in terms of the negotiation, I'm not sure when has that actually started until the time until, but what I can confirm is the actual confirmation of these prices and the actual receipt of money happens in 2020. And that's why it's only reflected in the 2020 account from our point of view.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. It appears Banjul Annex sale is not fully disclosed in the financial report, which has got some concerns for clarification. And that is to say, since it has been confirmed that there was sale of Banjul Annex, was evaluation done before the sale of the complex?
Yes, there was.
Do you have any evidence of the evaluation to that effect?
Yeah.
Any evidence of that? You can provide that to the committee. And who was the sole authority that authorized the sale of the complex?
From what I understand, it was between the ministry and the port.
It was between the ministry and ports, or board, between the ministry and the board,
No, the port, the Gambia Port Authority.
or port.
Yes. Yeah, and you know,
So-
the director was opted into, you know, because it belongs to GTTI. So he was working with them in order to be able to. Because the document.
The director was involved.
Yeah, he was part of it in order to be able to at least document the sale of the annex, because he must sign in order to be able to have it belonging to GTTI after the sales.
So the approval emanated from the ministry, one will say.
Yes, he had the financing.
Okay. Will we have interest to get the evaluation report?
Yes.
It can be provided.
So
to the
from
com-
what I learned, there was an evaluation and another evaluation done by the port itself in order to confirm that, you know, what they are paying for was right. Because I was the center leader at that time, and many times when I'm not there, you know, people go there, the security would tell me that the people from the port came to measure or whatever. Well, I don't know, because I don't know what the role of the board was, because I was not definitely involved in this transaction. All I can say, it was story.
Honorable Chair.
Honorable Chair, if the management can provide us the necessary documentation of the entire transaction of the sale of the annex.
Yeah, that will happen.
Can you provide all these transactions? Did you hear me?
Yeah, the evaluation report and the documents for the transaction.
Yes, I mean the
You are
documents for
best
the
in order to be able to
transaction.
present it to the
Okay, thank
assembly
you.
document.
My concern, Honorable Chair,
Yes.
is what is the point of having a board if decisions are taken without the board being involved and without the board approving? Because the board should be the overall decision-making body. So I think that is a cause for concern. Is it just a shadow board that is there at the whim and call of the executive, or what? Then I think the board needs to be dissolved in that case.
That's what I don't want. You don't, excuse me.
Honorable Chair, we are an
Excuse me,
oversight
excuse
function.
me,
We
excuse
cannot
me.
sugarcoat
Yes,
our-
we have oversight, but we don't do our conclusion.
What I'm saying
Madam?
is a fact.
Yes, I'm not saying it's,
Everything we ask,
I'm
the
not
board
saying
is
it's
not
not a
aware.
fact.
They've not taken
let's
position.
gather the facts. At the end, we put that in our report. We don't make
But the
conclusions.
board should know. We should tell them. That's why they are here.
They will know it through our report.
We have to tell them. That's why we summoned them. To
Yes,
come.
I'm putting that we don't make conclusion.
I'm making a point, and it is
You
a
can
fact
you
that
can
they
make
have
you
shown
can
us
make an
that.
observation. But the
I-
board be
you know,
solving.
the chair is to guide, but the chair should.
That's
guide
why
my
I am
mind.
guiding that.
I
Let's
am
not
free
conclude.
to make up a decision as to what the board have presented. They have presented that probably the board is not capable to do the oversight of everything because they cannot make decisions. So what is the point of the board then?
That point is what you should note. But the penalty on that, we should reserve that. Yes. Can you react on that?
Honorable Chair, members of the National Assembly, distinguished subject matter specialists. I mean, of course, what has happened in terms, I mean, because as you know, we have a new governing council for USET, and these are some historic events that have happened, which, of course, as the as chairman of USET, I'm not in a position to be able to narrate what has happened in the past, so I cannot really contribute on this subject unless we go back to the records of the board meetings at the time. But otherwise, I mean, I couldn't be able to provide the right answer because I said, yeah, we just took mandate in June of this year. So these are historical events that happened years ago, which I was not part of the board at that time, so I cannot really provide the answers at this point in time. Unless
Okay.
the records, I mean, unless the records at the time can be for the board meeting at the time can be found. Narrate what was the board's actions during the sale of the Banjul Annex. Thank you.
The committee is of interest to know that the transaction surrounding the sale of Banjul complex was not taken within a week or so. It was taken by periods, maybe a year or so. But what happens is that we have not seen in any part of the activity reports where the transactions surrounding the sale of Banjul has been part of the reports. We would like the management to explain that.
It did not take place. Yes, it did not take place. Not mistaken. Yes. Because I think we have it in the accounts. Yes.
Yes, so yes, it will come.
Any?
Yes. Yes, so the intention was to show it in the 2020-2021 academic activity report, the annual activity report. Yes, because the sale was not conclusive at the time of the this thing, the putting together of the report. So
When was it actually sold?
it was in 2020, but I could not
2020.
definitely tell you which date.
Okay. Then we are
Unless we
expecting
get the documents, then we can.
the transaction started in 2020
No,
and then sold in 2020.
It was in 2019 because the time they came to the Banjul Annex to evaluate, like to value the property, because they came to measure, do the measurement. I was the center manager there. So they used to come there frequently to do the measurements and things like that. We asked them, they said they come for the valuation of the property itself.
Okay. Then we are expecting to get it reflective in the 2021 report.
Yes, definitely, yes.
Have you paid the capital gain tax to GRA?
No, I don't know.
You want to? Okay. Before let me suspend that question. She has a supplementary question to that.
Okay, thank you, Honorable Member. I think the Honorable Member has asked a similar clarification, which you have clarified.
The fixed
The
assets.
sales have actually been reflected in the 2020 financial statements. If you go to the cash flow statements, they are reflected.
And the fixed assets.
If you go to the income, the profit on disposal is been reflected in the 2020. If you go to the account receivable, the outstanding balance from GPA is reflected in the financial statement. So from our point of view, it was concluded in 2020.
2020,
Yes.
yeah. That's
Well, then my question was whether you paid the capital gain tax
I don't
to GRA.
because I did not sign those documents. I did not receive those money
who did so?
at the point of signature. So I could not definitely tell whether it was paid or not. I think the accounts will be able to show that.
You can pay capital gain.
You mean the account?
Yes.
Yes, the question is for the accounts.
Yes, because when we pay I think, well, the tax authorities would be able to tell whether.
I don't get you.
I said, I think the tax authorities would be able to tell whether we pay.
Or the tax should be able to tell.
Yeah, because the capital gains tax, when if we did not pay, then definitely.
But who actually did the
think-
sale?
I was not there. I was not present, definitely.
But who actually did the selling? Because the GRA cannot just come when it is not directed to them.
Yes.
You said is it the MD or
I think Given the present situation, we've agreed that we will bring the documentation. So probably it will not be the best use of our time to talk about it when we don't have the documentation in here. I think you should allow us to go get the documents so that we'll be able to now furnish you with all the information that is pertaining to this particular sale. Maybe that would be fair.
Including the capital gain tax.
We'll find out. We'll get back to you on that. We would not be in the position to actually talk about it when we don't have all the relevant documents at the time. We'll go and do our confirmation and then get back to you.
The issue of paying tax must have come up because the property would be transferred, and the local authority would definitely call for the payment of capital gain tax.
We want to confirm. We cannot rely on the point that we try to note regarding the sale being captured in 2020 report, since it is confirmed at the level of the audit that the sale has been confirmed at the level of the audit, we believe in the same vein also it should be reflective in the activity report of 2020. What's your take on that?
Yeah, at that time we did not receive the whole amount of this money, and I think we are just exercising patience. I think, but definitely we agree that it should have been reflected there, whether it is fully paid or not fully paid. I think we should have done that definitely, and we will reflect it in the 2020-2021.
Yes.
Price was more than 40 million because what is was more than I'm asking because if it's reflected 14 million and they are saying that probably it wasn't concluded because what you received and record is what, because we don't see the actual physical money. We see the figures on the page, and it is recorded at this time that this was the amount paid. So, and you are saying that it wasn't concluded. So, are we expecting?
No, what I mean by conclude is like, we did not, finally get the total sum of the money.
But then the partial payment should have been recorded because
that, I agree to that.
A financial statement should be the actual of what is going round, not what is expected. If it was expected, it would have been shown as not as income earned, but probably as an, I don't know, in financial.
It was.
You see the proceeds from disposal is there. And I don't really know whether you're looking at the
No, I don't.
profit for the disposal. So you just mentioned. If you look at the
24 million, yeah.
Proceed from disposal, 24 million. Okay, because
I think that answers it.
so it's more than 14 million. Then.
That's right.
Okay, then 14 million was only part payment.
No, on the,
No, so they've actually received in 2020.
Yes.
It was 14 million that was received and that was recorded. So what you are saying
Honorable-
is true because it's part payment.
no, Honorable Member,
sorry.
Honorable Member, can I clarify?
One
Honorable
at a
Chair?
time. Sorry. Yes. Can you clarify?
Honorable Chair, can I clarify?
Yes.
Yes. The proceed for the, disposal is 24 million. Of that, when you go to page 13, note 3, under the account receivable, debtors, there is GPA receivable, sale of Banjul Annex, which was outstanding. So that means if you knock off against the 24, then we would know how much was received in 2020. Then the 14 million actually is just the profit or loss on disposal. which basically look at the disposal price vis-a-vis the net book value for Banjul Annex at that point in time. So what is recognized as income is the difference between the net book value of Banjul Annex against the disposal price of that. So he's confusing the two, the 14 million and the other one. Yes. That's why I said, let me just come in for clarify.
Now, can we move on? The other issues are surrounding the management letters. Let's get to 2018 management letter. Page 4, we begin with 18. And the first one is on the pro forma invoice, where the auditor recommended that the management should ensure pro forma invoice are raised upon request or inquiry which once confirmed by the customer. An invoice is raised to confirm the sale, which is in line with the recommended invoice processing. What's the management take on that? Can you use the mic?
I think, yes, this issue has been addressed. At the time, what was happening was we were receiving these invoices, which the SAGE system was just actually recording as income. So that was an issue, so we had to change the whole situation. So now we started using pro forma instead. So it's in line with what the recommendation that is recommended here by the audit. We've now put that in place, and going forward now we have a new system which actually is taking care of that. We moved from the old stage that was there into the new system that we got from Deloitte Associates.
External auditor? You said it has been addressed.
Okay, this was in 2018, so I think this was our last term of audit.
Okay.
So we don't know if it was implemented, unless the new auditors have anything to say on that.
Okay.
Honorable Chair, I refer you to page 18, where we have summary of issues raised during previous audit, and in that regard, we relate to 2018 audit. 28, yes. Item number 1, 2018, number 1, pro forma invoice.
Yes.
We say not implemented. We noted instances of payment in 2019 and 2020 on the basis of pro forma invoices. And 2020.
I think.
So that means it's still not implemented?
Yes, not fully implemented anyway.
What I want to say was there was a backlog in terms of the audit. So these issues will continue to show until we get to the year when it was actually implemented, when everything had been clear. So this actually happened in 2021 when we had the new system, the new Phoenix from Deloitte. That's why I just went on to say we've now, just for assurance, we've now rectified.
So that will be confirmed in the 2021 report?
That's right.
That's okay?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. And then the other concern is the issue of fuel purchase.
Fuel purchase. Oh, that is page 7, is it?
Page 7, yes. The auditor recommended that the management should look into the above fuel management issues and ensure that the fuel logbook is updated with packages and brought forward amounts to further improve on the controls. Have that updating been done? Okay. Yeah, then let's answer that first. Let's answer that first, then we come back.
Yes,
we have
the logbook in place at the moment.
You have it in place?
Yes, we have that in place.
Auditor, can you confirm?
I said this has been. I think he actually audited 2020. That was the last audit that he did.
Yes.
But we are saying now we have the fuel book in place, which shows the number of liters and how much, what has been done. So what we also need to take into consideration, I mean, to put things in context, we had a backlog of the accounts. So now when you do audit for all this period, these issues will still repeat as you go until it is rectified. So if you are doing an audit today and you are going back and you have already sorted it out today and you are doing, say, 2017, then you move to 18, the issue will still be there. It will just continue until the date you had rectified things.
Yeah, when you say whether it has been addressed, we want you to give us the update, like finally what is existing.
Yes.
Yes.
If you want to go by 2020 audit, it will reflect that it's still not been done. But I'm telling you that now we've actually put that in place, which we review and check and sign.
Okay.
We are trying to improve and migrate.
Well, we are starting with 2018. I hope when we come to 2020 issue emanate, I will know that you've confirmed that for now it has been
That's right.
addressed. No
That's
need
right.
to seek
Very
the
well.
opinion of the
That's the
audit.
point I'm trying to make.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's just because this is 2018.
That's right.
If at all it's 2020, maybe I will not need to ask.
Yeah. Okay.
Where I jump is the quality assurance department.
Yeah.
That in page 6.
Yes.
And with the management also, sorry, the auditor also seek for the management to ensure that the quality assurance department provides reports which will help in determining the level of work being done to ensure quality is maintained for student enrollment enrolling into the institute. Also, response to that?
We have actually appointed the quality assurance officer, which has now taken over the role of preparing the reports. So as we speak, quality assurance officer is preparing these reports on an annual basis to show, to respond on this, to be able to maintain quality.
And how is it appraised? Like, how do you check the quality of the quality? How do you assure that you are giving quality, teaching? Because this is a learning institution, and if they come out, what you give them is what they come out with. If you teach them trash, they come out with trash.
We'll allow the registrar to also make comment.
Okay, thank you very much. Good afternoon once again. I'm the registrar. We do make a lot of emphasis on quality, and what we do is we try to make sure we have systems that would be very much quality oriented, starting from the teaching of lesson plans, the scheme of works, and we do have monthly performance appraisals just to make sure that whatever happens in the class is being picked up, and the committee would be made to review and reward or reprimand lecturers through their heads of departments, and the heads of departments will be doing the monthly evaluation. And we're even hoping that this kind of practice would be extended to the admin cadre as well, so that at least there would be a 360-degree quality assurance system in place. Thank you.
On the issue of fixed assets, the management, the auditors observed, and then they made the following recommendation: that the management should look into the issue, and then that to ensure that assets are tagged in line with the code in the asset register. Have you complied with that?
At the moment, we must be realistic. We have already, there was some exercise that was done through our project with the World Bank. So the issue still remains, because those were done on a different tagging. But we are trying to align the tagging codes to make sure that we have one master code that will tie with what we have on the register. So that once you look at the register, you'll be able to access and be able to locate the asset, and the reference number should be the same. So we've got, is it Karamo Arts also? They are going to come in and do that. So that
They are going to?
come in and ensure that that is done.
You've not started yet?
No, we are going to get them to come in and do that. They've come, but they've not completed the process. We must be honest. They've not completed it, and we are going to get them to complete that. But it has started. It's ongoing.
Just started.
Yes.
Okay.
So we are hoping that by the end of this year, so by the time we do 2021 audit or 2021 audit, that should be regularized.
Okay. On statutory deduction, the auditors made that observation and then recommended that the management should ensure that all statutory payments are paid on time. Is that the case?
Yes. At the time we had issues regarding these statutory deductions. There were lapses, and we've put something in place to ensure that going forward this should not happen. I think during the COVID also there was a month or so that it happened again, because the whole team were not together and people were not at work. So I think it affected a month or so. But now going forward, we have got some kind of system in place to ensure that it is done, and we want to be paying these social security statutory deductions maybe about day 2 or day 3 after the end of the month. We won't wait until the 14th or the 13th. I think that was the usual practice before. So now we are trying to make sure that day 3 of the following month it is resolved, so that we don't run into this circumstance.
No, which term? Yes. Page on 2018.
Yes, please.
Okay.
There is an observation that board minutes and information provided from the management. There is a canteen available in the school premises and it is operational. Then the auditors requested for the rental contract but was not provided for their review. And there is an implication management not providing them with a contract agreement means that they will be unavailable. There will be unavailability of to ascertain the terms and conditions agreed between the current tenant and the institute. So there was a management response that this canteen was in operation for a very long time. A proper contract document could not be traced for the operation of the canteen. Management will not engage the institute's legal retainer to draw a contract stating the terms and conditions of the agreement between the tenant and the institute. I asked the management, is there any agreement between them and the operation, the guy who is operating the canteen right now? Is there any MOU or is there any documentation between you and her or him?
Yeah, we tried to, when this report was received, we tried to trace the contract that was, instituted between I would not call it a tenant because there was no legal contract that was visible. So, but definitely we searched and there was no contract. So what we did as a remedy was to take the issue back to the board and then to see what, their vision is as to what this issue. So they said the agreement was that, all those who have been managing the canteen before, there was a sort of a, agreement like, you run the canteen, provide the food for a very reasonable and affordable price, then manage the institution will now pay for the electricity bills and the water bills in order to be able to at least, compensate for the prices that they are offering to the students, which would definitely below what is standards that are below the price that is being offered outside. But nonetheless, there was a subcommittee that was tasked in order to be able to work with management in order to draw a contract, but starting with an MOU. And this was done after this revelation. So this was done. We were working on it together with the legal retainer, who definitely worked on it. The canteen manager was brought in. We sort of, negotiate as to the terms of the institute, not her own terms. We are looking at it at the terms and the interests of the institute, so that at least whether she is ready to come to those terms, and then we can draw the MOU, and then she sign, and then we start from there. Besides, there were conditions attached to this, that the canteen will be renovated to standard, whereby, the canteen, whenever you come there, you know that this is a standard canteen. Because he also was complaining that the canteen was not to the level that, definitely is conducive for human health. So these are the issues that come into play. Then the MOU was drawn, and then it was brought before the board again. It was reviewed, and then from there now, I think, it was finalized and signed. I don't know whether something like that. Because we submitted it finally. The final draft was submitted anyway. Yes.
Honorable Chair, I think if the guy is not, or the person who is really operating the canteen or using the canteen at the moment is not really satisfied with the condition the canteen is. Since GTTI, or I'll suggest if GTTI can do a share-based thing with him or her, that when you have an MOU with him or her, then I think it can be a share-based that once you maintenance the canteen, and it can be like some percentage to GTTI and then some percentage to the person who is really operating using the canteen. I think that GTTI can generate fund out of that.
Yeah, that is the whole intention. That is the whole idea. That was the whole idea. When the MOU was drafted, these conditions were put there. That, she has to remit a certain amount of her profit or whatever to the institution. Yes.
But this canteen has been operating for so long. It means
Yes.
for those previous years, GTTI could not do anything to remedy that situation of someone using the canteen without paying anything or without contributing anything to the GTTI board. The former chair of the board, can you say something about that?
Yes, I know there has been some problems with the canteen management. What we found feasible at that time is to work on making sure that the prices that they charge the students at the canteen, it's something that is affordable to them, rather than going after them to pay a yearly rent or whatever you call it, because they won't pay. We have experience in that. You ask them to put a certain amount of money at the end of every year, they won't pay. The students are always in this. We cannot control the prices because they will tell us that they have made their investment there too. So what we did, we said, okay, we'll sit down with you. We gave them a task at the board, sit down with the proprietor and see whether we can have an influence on the pricing system in the institute. Because there are people selling food out just outside our gate at probably about at half price or one third of the price. So, we also have to take into account that he is also in the business to make profit. So, it's a very delicate, this has been going on for almost maybe 30 years. That's the arrangement that we found there. But now we're trying to do something about it. We have a memorandum of understanding, which is of power to regulate at least the price of the food that is produced by the canteen for the benefit of the students. We are also telling her that, if you want, people can come in and buy your food, but our priority is the students, and this is what the student would pay, for a meal. And I think that's a much better compromise because people, it's a difficult situation.
Honorable Chair, I think there are better ways to solve this problem because if you really want to gain something out of that canteen, if you want to have any revenue or whatsoever out of that canteen, I think there are ways to stop students from going outside in order to get food. Because one, you need to consider their health, and then two, also a GTTI will also want to gain something out of that. Either you'll have a security at the gate or whatsoever to stop students from going outside to get food. So I think that can solve the problem. Also, can you also provide this August Assembly the MOU that you will be having with that the guy using the canteen at the moment, please?
Actually, the problem was brought by exactly what you're describing. If you lock that door and tell the students that they cannot go out and buy food because there is food at the canteen, see, that's trouble. It's trouble. You can give them the option. If they want to go out, let them go out. But if they find out that the prices that they are getting from the institute is the same or even better than outside, they will eat at the institute. That's the way to handle them. These are very difficult people to, yeah, we're not trying to control them, but at least, give them what is due to them. That's all. If you don't want problem, give them what is due to them. There are lots of difficulties in, making things work as they should. We all have our shortcomings, from the board side, from the administrative side, all of us, because of the society in which we live in. To enforce certain things, it's so difficult.
Yeah, that's okay. We understand. Just provide us with the MOU, and from there we looked at what.
Thank you. I think the last, on the management later, the last issue is surrounding the internal audit reports. The auditors made observation on that in terms of its implementation and the response from the various units as well as the timeline involved. And they recommended that the management and the board should look into the issue and try to further improve on the performance of the unit, that is the internal audit. What's your take on that?
At the moment, at present, the internal auditor reports to the governing council subcommittee. There's a subcommittee that is going to be constituted, where the internal auditor will be reporting to. With the old board, we had a subcommittee which is called Admin and Finance. So it's a subcommittee of the board itself. So the internal auditor was reporting to those following this audit report. So now that we have a governing council, there's a committee that will be set up as well that it will report to, and not to the Director General or that sort of thing. And then the reports that the internal auditor has prepared, those also will be brought to the attention of that committee of the board, and then actions will be taken to implement all the recommendations that are on the report.
On the review of the previous year management data points, the fixed assets, asset register, damaged vehicles, the auditor's remark is this has not been addressed by the management. And the accounting software, the management is currently addressing, or the management is currently addressed, and the issue has procured a new software for the year 2020 is going forward. On the bank reconciliations, the note is we noted the bank reconciliations were prepared late in 2018. And then on the income, this is currently being addressed by the management. For the fuel management, the management is currently addressing this issue. The fuel for the director is now approved by the board. On the absolute stock, the board paper is prepared and will be forwarded to the board for disposal. Whereas the internal audit unit, the management has agreed that internal audit will report to A&F board subcommittee going forward. This issue is being addressed by the management. The school management information system, this currently being addressed by the management, it was confirmed to us that a contract was signed with the provider of the school management information system. Honorable colleagues, that is the 2018 management letter. If you look at issues in the 2019 and 2020, it appears the same issues are carried forward. So that means we just go straight to the summary of issues that were reviewed at the end, whether they were acted upon or otherwise, the same issues were carried forward. And then in the notes by the auditors, on the pro forma invoice not implemented, we noted instances for payment in 2019 and 20 on the basis of the pro forma invoice. And then the evidence of contract for the operation of the canteen not provided during 2018. On that, the auditor noted not implemented as it not implemented the issue reported. So that is what the management should take us through. This is the 2019-2020, still on this issue of the canteen, whether for the, I have not got that update from the management, whether it has been regularized or not, as at now.
That's the issue of the canteen?
Yes, the evidence of contract for the operation of the canteen not provided during the 2018 audit. The same issue has been carried forward, and now the auditor is still saying not implemented.
I think we just confirmed that the MOU has been done, which we said we will share with the team, the members. I think that we agreed on that
Okay.
a few minutes ago. So that one we've already, we have the,
You have the MOU signed.
to that effect from the legal retainer.
On the issue of the quality assurance department, no quality assurance report prepared for 2018. These two is confirmed not implemented, but at one point in your deliberation, you updated that it has been taken care. For the fuel, no fuel purchase contract or framework agreement with Atlas. That too, that is not implemented. Can you give us an update on that? Can you use the mic?
Okay. Yes, that is, it's correct that we have not implemented that yet, but we will go ahead and have a contract with Atlas.
We hope in the 2021 report that
Yeah.
issue will be addressed.
We will ensure that we do that before the end of this year.
On the fixed assets not being tagged, partly implemented, we will still note the assets that are yet to be tagged. So this
I
part
confirmed that few minutes ago.
implementation is still the position, not fully implemented.
No. I confirmed that few minutes ago that it's not fully implemented,
Okay.
and we are in the process, and we'll ensure that it gets done.
I hope by 2021 it will fully
We are
be
in
implemented.
2022 right now. Yes, when they do 2021 accounts, we will try to
Okay.
get that done.
On the statutory deduction, the late payment of the deductions not implemented, instances of late payments noted. What's your take on that?
Yes. Again, it is something that I just clarified. I said, yes, it has happened again, but
Okay.
we will ensure going forward. We put something in place, which is, we'll ensure that these things get done like day 3 of every month. And we believe that we address the issue.
And finally, the internal audit report, the weakness on the follow-up on recommendation, lack of agreement with the management on implementation timelines for recommendation, not implemented as well.
The newly set up governing council, which was in June or July this year, they would now schedule as to a period that they will look into these reports from the internal audit and then get the departments that are concerned, the issues that they've raised, and then get them addressed.
So now to GPP. Do you have anything on compliance?
Honorable Chair, the last time I told the committee that we review them and then we send the draft report to them, but they did not respond as we speak.
Yes, we just want to respond to that right now. I mean, that statement, as we discussed in our presentation session.
Can you bring the mic closer?
Yeah. Yeah, sorry. During the last presentation, we actually confirmed that we would address that issue with the GPPA regarding the response. That has been done. The response has been done. I have a copy of it right now. And we had sent it to somebody called, is it Lamarana? Do you have anybody by that name?
Yes.
Yes. That person has actually, we were told the focal person, the main focal person is out of town. Is travel, is not in town, but then that person has received the report that the response. So we believe that in due course, GPPA will be able to maybe do the scoring again. I think the scoring that was done now is about 60%. So they would rescore based on the reports or the responses that we have given. And I think that would take it forward.
That's for 2018 to 20.
To 20, that's right.
I think it's 2018 to 2020.
Very well. We have actually done a response to that, and that Lamarana has received it.
Okay, what I wanted to say.
It's on. It's not on.
Okay, Lama Jallo is the sort of
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, if you
Thank
go,
you.
you can confirm whether you are in the seat. Yeah, if you confirm, you act on it urgently. Okay? Yes. When it gets to the office, hopefully tomorrow, whether the officials have received, they said, responses from your office. Honorable colleagues, do you have anything?
Yes, with the issue of the tuition fee, yes, I know there was COVID, but the amount has, or the percentage has really decreased from 55%, from 55.2% to 7.2%. Is there, or was there any other constraint that leads to this? Different from the COVID? COVID. Mariam, are you sure?
Any order? In the absence of no order issue, can any honorable member move that we consider and adopt the reports of GTTI 2018 to 2020, excluding the BPPA? We are yet to get those ones. Yes.
I rise to adopt the report.
It has been moved and seconded that this August committee considers and adopts the reports of GTTI 2018 to 2020. Those in favor, please say aye. And those not in favor, please say no. The ayes have it. On that note, the said reports stand adopted, considered and adopted. Thereafter, the committee will prepare the report for onward submission to the plenary. It is at the plenary where the final adoption of the reports are done, and the recommendations that are made, the various committees, education for that matter, will try to act on for the implementation of those recommendations. On that note, honorable members, the subject matter specialists, and the officials from the GTTI, external auditors, we thank you for your attendance and your contribution to this consideration. Can any honorable member move that we adjourn the meeting until tomorrow, 10 a.m.?
I move the motion that we adjourn the meeting.
It has been moved and seconded that the meeting be adjourned until tomorrow, 10 a.m. Those in favor, please say aye. And those not in favor, please say no. The ayes have it. Therefore, the meeting stands adjourned until tomorrow, 10 a.m. Thank you.